Hey everybody, Ishmael Amani here, Citywide Properties, your international real estate agent, local real estate agent here in the DFW area, Dallas, Texas. Hey, so amazing to be here. Hey, but I just want to talk to you about some things and actually internationally, what's really happening in my own country, in Kenya. That's where I was born, if you guys don't know. But is just looking at that country is actually in the verge of collapse. That's how I see it, because there's a lot of struggling, there's a lot of suffering at this point because, lack of jobs, prices of commodities are so high, kids, most children are not going to school right now because the tuition fees, are so astronomically high, and the fuel, is so high, things are just so high right now. But what's really the issue? I'm gonna give you a background. Actually, it's a political issue, and most issues in Africa is just political issues, and these are some things that we really have to think about and stand, and we have to change these things, But the background in Kenya is whereby we have a president that just we actually have a president called President Ruto, and who ran the election last year, August 2022, and he was running against Raila. Raila was actually is a beloved figure, a leader in Kenya. We love him so much. Actually, I really love him because I think he can really bring a big change. But actually, Ruto was given the presidency even after the Supreme Court. And but the issue we have in Africa, most African countries, is we lack free, fair, and verifiable elections. The reason I'm saying this is because even with President Ruto winning that election, the servers, the electronic servers that were used in that elections, they were never open, and they are not open till today. So that's why it's making so difficult, to even, trust any election or just go to vote, because they are basically being rigged. So that's what is happening. And while I'm saying Kenya I feel is in the verge of collapse, is because Raila actually says and that he knows he won those elections, and he wants those electronic servers to be opened. And there's a lot of demonstrations going on right now. And and if you see what's going on is the lack of a country, to be able to sustain itself with the new government that is in. The new government that is in with President Ruto, there have been a lot of corruptions with a lot of those leaders in that government, and there's have been cases being dismissed left and right. So, and people actually are also suffering, when all these things are happening. So Raila has called a demonstration, a mass action, for Ruto to actually open those electronic servers so that everybody can know the truth. And that's what it really needs to be happening in Africa, because this is the 21st century. We're in the 21st century, and there's no way that we still are going through rigging and all these things. We are in a new era, new world. African people needs to wake up. They need to, actually take a step so that they can also be able to be developed as fast as possible as just any other Western countries. So, but if we see things like, rigging of elections, maybe because of Western countries want those leaders to be imposed on people. But, when we see things like the International Monetary Fund and controlling a lot of things, World Bank controlling a lot of things, or controlling those leaders that they want there, is so sad. But Africa actually is, has a lot of potential, with all of the resources. You think about the resources that are in African countries, even in Kenya, diamonds, oil, you name them, but we see, leaders who are so much corrupt, and, people are really struggling even right now. If you think about Kenya, the staple food by itself, which is the corn flour, is so very expensive. It's a luxury commodity right now. Most people can't afford it. So there's a lot of struggling, and kids who are supposed to be in school, they can't even attend school because the tuition fees are so high. So that's why there's a lot of mass action, and there's protests. And if you if you know this Raila, yes, has tried to run for the presidency for the last 5 times, and he's been calling for a free, verifiable election all the time, you know what I mean? But it's never been free, it's never been verifiable, it's never been fair, and that's his fight. His fight is, we don't want to get back and slide back to dictatorship, okay? If you see somebody like President Ruto, you know, who is actually the president right now, okay? He has, he has not really, he has not really stepped up to the plate, you know, whereby, getting, those prices to go down, create a lot of jobs for the youth. He has not stepped out on a lot of things, that he promised a lot of people in the country also. So, people are so, upset, that's why there's a lot of people who are really just, not happy about how things are going on right now. Okay, so those are things that that are going on right now in Kenya, and that's why there's only the mass action will be on Wednesday, and then people will listen to what Raila wants the country to which direction the country he wants the country to go to, because there's a lot of people who actually voted for him, and the people are the people actually are the people who need to be able to make that decision of who they want. And actually, as we see, Raila has a lot of people, and people really love him. And he actually iterated how, a whistleblower talked about, he's the one who won that election by 8.1 million votes, while Ruto had only 5 million votes. And definitely we see this rigging. And if you really know you want something, why don't you just want to get the electronic servers open? So that's my thing too. Just get it open, let people know what's going on, and let people know the truth, but it's time for Africa to step up. It's time for the truth to start coming out. It's time for things to change. Africa needs to change, and we can actually be one of the best countries in the world. But the problem is, if we are being tied down with maybe international countries or Western countries, that's the thing that really won't make Africa to be where it's supposed to be. But it's time for change. It's time for Africans to change, and it's time for development. This is the time for the vision. Anyway, Ishmael Amandi here. Take care. Have a blessed one. If you comment, you can comment down here, or if you think you agree with me, disagree with me, whatever, just comment. Do it. But it is what it is. We have to talk about the truth. We have to say what it is, and that's what it is. Okay. Open the electronic service. Let people know the truth, and let's move on. And let's make African countries great. Let's make Kenya great. Thank you. Have a blessed one. Take care.